All right, ladies and gents, here is my new work car. Yep, I've gone back to a Ram again. There was a few reasons I had to sell the old Ram. I think we'll get into it, but before we do that, I just want to say, how good does this thing look? It's they call it a facelift on the old one, but to me, I just think it's such a different look. I've gone the limited model this time, which means you get a few extra bits and pieces. The interior is worlds apart from the old one. You get air suspension. For me, the work I do, look, the old Ram I had for maybe 18 months, and in that time I did almost 50,000 Ks, just over 50,000 Ks, so I'm in the car a lot. It has to be something comfortable. I did consider a few other things. I drove all the medium-sized or small utes, if you want to call them, Rangers, Hiluxes and all that, and they didn't really suit me for longer drives. Being my build, it didn't really make sense. I looked at things like newer Land Cruisers, new Patrols, and the wagon just didn't really suit the work I do. I still do a bit of work on the tools here and there. But I think before we go too deep into this, I'd like to talk about the old one and why I sold it, because it did tick a lot of boxes, but there was a couple of things that really forced my hand in the end and meant that it had to go. And these are by no means a perfect car. It had its fair share of issues. So let's walk through those first. Okay, so now that I've introduced the new Ram, your next question might be, why did you get rid of the old one just to get another 1500 Ram? I think a good way to open it would be my 3 least favorite things about my DS Ram. Number 1 is probably the cost of maintenance, and it's something that this will come across at some point, but where I bought the last one was at a bit of a tricky spot in its kilometers, and if you're thinking about buying one, this might be the most important thing you check when it comes to buying a second-hand Ram. The one that I had, at 150,000 Ks, they need a relatively good service. And one of the things that needs to be done is the spark plugs. So the thing with these is the spark plugs are a little bit more expensive, because I can't remember whether iridium or platinum, there was something particular we needed to buy, which made them a little bit more expensive. And then I sort of thought to myself, shit, I need to buy 8 of them. That's going to be super expensive. And then when it came down to it, I spoke to my mechanic, he was like, no, these are essentially a twin spark, you need 16 spark plugs. So you can imagine if it's a slightly more expensive than standard spark plug and you need 16 of them, that can be a bit of an unexpected hit for a routine service. So that was a bit nasty. And then the diff, which the rear diffs in these is a more and more prevalent issue that people are picking up on. It's quite common. And around those kilometers too, you'll start to pick up a bit of a whine in the rear diff. There's some really weird things about them. So the plug for the rear diff is literally just like a rubber bung that you can pull in and out, which I think is mental. I've never seen it before. But the pinion bearings let go. And the service schedule for the diff, I think, says to change the oil every 50,000 from memory, but it seems to be that what the people in the know are saying, it should be done every 30,000, and if you don't, it's very likely that you'll need a new rear diff before 200,000 Ks. So my old Ram, the diff started to get noisy. I got some quotes to get it fixed early on in the piece, and I was looking at $5,000 to $6,000 to fix it properly. So another thing to look for, if you're going to go buy a second-hand Ram, listen for a whine from that rear diff. And if it hasn't been replaced, know that there's a good chance, unless the person who's really switched on serviced it every 30,000 Ks from the get-go, it's likely that it's going to start making noise and it's going to cost you big dollars to fix it. To be honest, my experience with the last Ram overall was actually quite good, and the only other thing I can really fault it for, and it's not really a fault, but it's something that if you're in the market to buy your first Ram, you should be aware of, is that they do use a lot of fuel. This one is a little bit better. It's got a real, it's fake hybrid in my opinion, but it's got an electric assist in it that sort of helps. And this still has stock wheels and tyres, so it's quite good. It gets around 11 or 12 for day-to-day driving. But the old one used to get about 13, 14. It had slightly bigger tyres, and they're just big, thirsty V8s, so don't think you're going to jump out of a Hilux or Ranger and get anything similar in something like this. These are a lot bigger, they're a lot faster, they're petrol, they're a lot more fun too, but you will be spending money at the Bowser. And I suppose the last con is probably a glaringly obvious one, and it comes down to your lifestyle and where you live. If you live in a city, don't waste your time buying one of these. I had a couple of jobs that went on in Sydney City earlier this year, And navigating a Ram through these small laneways, trying to find car parks was a bloody nightmare. I sort of get it when people complain about seeing these in the inner city. I'll take it in there from time to time when we have to, but they're not made for it. I live a long way out of the city. I'm more than an hour out of Sydney, so where I am, it makes sense. We've got pretty average old roads. I do heaps of highway driving. I did about 50,000 Ks in that last Ram in about a year and a half. So for comfort, 100%, but those are the things you need to look out for. If any of them are going to be deal breakers for you, a Ram is not going to be for you. Anyway, I think it's time to get into the new one. So a lot of things are similar about this compared to my old one. We've gone the same color, the crystal granite. I think it just looks beautiful on these, especially the limited with the black highlights on the front of it. This has the air suspension, like I've mentioned, which rides quite nice. It's got a lot more options in the back of it, but the main reason I bought it was this one has a shorter tub, but it's got Ram boxes, and that means you get a little bit more space in the back, and the interior had a massive update on the last one that I owned. So let's have a quick look at what I'm talking about. For this bit here, I think this is going to be the best angle. I'm just going to jump in the driver's seat. I've left everything as it is, how I use it. It's probably a little bit dirty, but it's a work car. We're not going to pretend to be anything we're not. But this, to me, was where some of the biggest improvements were. So obviously the old one, I actually put an aftermarket screen in it. I'll just turn it on and off. So your seat automatically slides forward once you're into your position. Now you get the full iPad style screen. I love that you also get Apple CarPlay. It's wireless. There's a wireless car charger in here, which is awesome. The center console is absolutely huge. So you can have it all closed up. There's massive storage under here that slides forward, and you have just as much in the back. A normal center console here. So big fan of this. It just feels a bit more premium to be in here. I'll get some shots of the interior as well. Steering wheel is really nice. I didn't have steering wheel controls. It was just an aftermarket CarPlay before. It's got a big sunroof, which I like. It's not really necessary. It's got the premium sound system. It's just, I don't know, for a ute, it just feels like a very special place to be. You feel like you're sitting in a luxury car. You're not sitting in a day-to-day ute. So I'd say that's the biggest step up in this car compared to the old one. There is way more space in the back seats, which will come in handy for me in the near future. But yeah, it's just, there's a reason I've gone to another Ram. I went and drove a Silverado. The interior didn't feel to the same fit and finish. You get the double glove box, so you got a ton of space. What else did I drive? I looked at a Ford F-150 and just thought, how boring is that? I couldn't stand it. And then there was all the smaller utes, but they were just too small. Like, I'm a reasonably sized guy, and you get a full center console. There's lots of space. It's just space and comfort, which were the winners for me. Oh yeah, you also get automatic side steps. Turn that off. It's push button start. And the back seat is absolutely huge as well. You've got a power window in the back here that can slide open and closed. See that big moonroof. Your seats fold up, which gives you a ton of space. And I can easily fit in these seats. I'm 6'2", just a touch over 100 kilo. And there's heaps of space for me in the back. These seats actually recline. You can slide the base forward and it reclines the back. But easily fit 3 good-sized adults in there. Another look at those trims on the doors. The Harman Kardon audio. Great looking. Your side steps are electric and fold up and down by themselves, you see there. I think next video, we'll get this out on the road. I might do some standard highway testing and then we'll get into the modifications. So there you have it. This is my new Ram. I think the next episode, we'll start doing the modifications. So we're going to get the lift into it. I'll show you how it's done. I'll do a step-by-step. So if you've bought one of these or you're thinking about it, you can see how easy it is to do, or not easy, we'll find out. We'll go bigger tires and we'll get the exhaust sorted. I think the exhaust is the #1 thing for these. It just, if you got that V8, you want to be able to hear it. Not obnoxious, but it's got to sound right. So if you're interested in more Ram content, let me know. I'm finding it a little bit hard to figure out what I can do with this content-wise. It is my work car, so it's not dedicated to this channel like the Land Cruiser. But if there's things you want to see, there's things you're interested in outside of this buyer's guide, the best and worst things about them in my opinion, or the upcoming highway testing and modifications, and potentially the four-wheel drive testing, let me know and we'll get it sorted. Thanks guys, I'll see you on the next one.